Okay, we're gonna now do some grading with these feature lines. The feature line we created, and we've got one more that's in here already, but we got to do a little housekeeping. So let's look at this one here. This is our feature line, okay? And I want to trim this feature line. I want it to stop pretty much right at the 190. So all we're going to use is this one feature line. All right, so let's just scroll in here and do a little polyline and just parallel this, get as close as you can to that line, that's all. And go ahead and select the line, the feature line itself, and we're going to use the trim feature here for this feature line. And cutting edge, you select the polyline you just drew, and then right click and then select that side of it. Okay, and then you can delete that. Let's go over here and do the same thing on this side. Zoom in here. All right, let's do a polyline. Again, just follow it right along there. Select it, and let's trim it. Again, using the trim under the edit geometry. Cutting edge. Right click, and then click on the feature line. All right, and then delete that polyline. We don't need that. So now that we click on that, you'll notice that it is just 190s, or should be. So we'll look at that, and there we go. And it's not quite 90. It probably won't matter, but we're going to just go ahead and access this field, type in 190, and edit that, and then click on this one, and also choose 190. And so we should have all 190s for that feature line. Okay. Also, you'll note that sometimes these feature lines can interact with the surface. So this is our surface. We're going to use the feature line to help us grade, and it's going to be grading to this surface. Now, there is a which I say, you know, it's going to look at this as a whole. Okay, so we can always go back and add that. So I'm going to remove this for now. So go back in your tool space. Okay, go under surfaces. Okay, and choose existing grade. Let's look at our definitions, and let's go ahead and remove the boundary. Okay, so we're just going to click on here, and I'm going to delete it. Okay, and we can always edit back, no big deal. Hit OK. Okay, and you'll note you get these little warnings, no big deal, and we're going to click and we're going to rebuild. Okay, and now let's look at it. The contour lines will pass through, and that's because it just gets a little wonky with these sometimes on there. And also, sometimes we're doing grading, and this is just a heads off, and that's fine. What happens is it gets a little funky with property lines, can mess up grading for some reason, and sometimes I've seen them where it's moved property lines. So to avoid that, we're going to create a new site. Okay, so let's go back in here, and let's look under sites, and let's click on sites there, right click and hit new, and we're going to create a new site called grading. Okay, and this is what we're going to put all our feature lines on grading. We're going to apply. So now, and OK. So now we've got a new site called grading. All right. And what we want to do is we want to click on that feature line that we're going to use to grade, and come up here under modify, and we're going to move it to the site. And I'm going to select, it was on none, I'm going to move it to grading. Okay, and I'm going to hit OK. Again, that just makes sure that because the property lines are on the development site, grading will be on the grading site, so they will not interfere with each other. Okay. All right, so one other thing we need to do is come up into your layer manager, and you're going to scroll down all the way down here to a where is it? Right here. Tin volume. Okay, it's hidden. We're going to unfreeze it. Okay, so that's tin volume, should be in your drawing. and it will appear here. Okay, we're going to head and delete this line. I'm not going to use it for this one. And this is just a polyline. So let's go ahead and convert this polyline into a feature line. Okay, and we're going to set the feature line at an elevation of 172. So go ahead and do that. All right, to do that, we're going to just come in here, feature line from object. We're going to select that object. We're going to right click. We're going to hit enter. And we're going to put it on grading. And for this one, we're going to choose basin for the name. Okay. We will keep it, basic style. All that stuff looks good. And hit OK. And now we're going to click on that and we're going to edit elevation. And here's my elevation. And you notice it's 176. I'm going to change that to 172. So I can Control A, click on this one, and 172. And now all my elevations for that feature line are 172. All right. All right, now we're going to grade. And so what this is going to be a feature line. We're going to create a basin here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this to create a basin that is 3 feet deep. Okay, so it's going to go down from this line, which is at 172, down 3 feet on there. So we're going to use our grading here. We're going to use our grading creation tool. Okay, and we're going to go through these settings, but the first one here is to set a grading group. I'm going to click on this one, and the site I'm going to choose again is grading. I'm going to hit OK. And this is the group I'm going to use for this grading group. I'm going to call it basin for my grading group. I'm going to check automatic surface creation. Okay. And we're going to use the group name. Okay. So everything else is as you see. And we're going to hit OK. And there we go. It's created a new surface it's going to create. Basin. Perfect. And we're going to hit OK. Next, we're going to set the target. So this is the surface where we're creating a new surface for basin, and it has to have a baseline, a surface. In this case, the only one we got in there is existing grade, so we're going to choose that. Hit OK. We can put the grade lines that we're going to generate on a different one, but we're not. We're going to choose that. All right. Now, this is the different criterias for grading. Okay, so you can establish it where it grades from this feature line out for a set suburb distance, and we have to give it a slope. We can do it to a elevation or a relative elevation. We're going to do relative elevation. Okay, and then we're going to, you can also grade to a surface. Okay, so we're going to do relative elevation. Okay. You can edit that criteria, but we're not. Okay, and here we're going to create a grading group from there. Okay, other things you can do is you can create an infill, but you have to have grading already created, and we're going to create one after we do this. Okay, so we're going to create grading, and it says select the feature line. We're going to select this line. And it says, okay, what side of it do you want to use? Well, because it's a basin, the interior is where I want to pick. And then apply along the entire length. That's yes. And okay, how do we want it to go? Do we want it to go up a foot? No, it's a basin. It's a pond, so to speak. So I got to go -3, and I'm going to hit return. And then you can choose how this goes down 3 feet by either a grade, which again is a percent. So it's going to be 1% is 1 foot over 100, or slope. We're going to choose slope. And the slope I'm going to choose is 3 to 1. Okay, so for every 3 feet over, it's going to go down 1 foot. And there it is. It graded it down and actually put these contour lines in, and I could hit escape. Okay, so there we go. I've created it, but as you note, it's just going straight down. It doesn't know what to do with the bottom of it. So this is where we're going to use the infill. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to choose, not creating grading, I'm going to do an infill. And then it's select the area that it's going to infill. And I'm going to select here. And there it did. You should get something like this, or sometimes there's a couple contour lines, but it made it flat basically. So it created that bottom. Instead of just having a slope with an empty bottom, it created that. Okay. So then the next thing I want to choose is grading to surface. Okay. So this is where we're going to tie off the outside feature line into my existing grade. Okay. So I'm going to choose here, create grading, okay? And then it says select a feature line. Well, I'm going to select my feature line. And instead of the interior, now I'm going to go on the outside. So where I did and I sloped it down 3 feet, I'm going to now tell it, I don't know how far you got to go down, but you got to connect into the existing grade. And so I'm going to pick this side of the grading, the entire length, yes, and I'm going to also do slope. And because you might have a situation where you have cut, where we're cutting in, or fill, we could have two different things. So I'm going to choose two different slopes for my cut and fill. So I'm going to go 3 to 1 into my cut area. I generally, when I make a cut, I can have it a little steeper. And then for slope again, for the fill, and I'm going to choose 5 to 1. Okay, so a fill section, not as steep. And there it is. It graded it out, and I can escape, and there it is. It graded this pond into there. So this is a little depression area out on there.